spiritual snacks. So the question today is, as Christians, do we need to tithe? Well, that's very interesting because I am a priest, and if people don't tithe, then I'm out of a job. So I'm pretty much going to say yes, they do. But why, apart from giving me a job? Well, everything in the church is paid for by the people. That comes from their tithing. Tithe actually means tenth. It's Hebrew for tenth. So traditionally people would give 10% of whatever they had to the church every year. Going back even further than that, you will see with Moses and Israel that each person was expected, actually each person was commanded to give a tenth of everything that they had, and this would pay for the priests, the Levites. The Levites were one of the tribes, and they, unlike the rest of the people of Israel, had no inheritance. They didn't go out and have jobs. Their whole existence was about serving the people through the Lord. So their tenth of everything that Israel tithed went to the Levites. And then the Levites themselves gave a tenth of what they received back to the Lord. And if you move further into the New Testament, you will see that Jesus, he didn't talk that much about tithing, but he did a bit, and he talked to the Pharisees, and when he was tearing them off a strip, he said, you give a tenth of your dill, you give a tenth of your cumin, you give a tenth of this, but you forget the things that are really big in God's heart. Things like faithfulness and mercy and justice. And Jesus says to them, you should be doing all of those things. Interestingly, the tithe that they had in the Old Testament, the tithe itself was just the minimum, the bare minimum, that tenth. They gave much more on top of that. In Deuteronomy 12, verse 5, it talks about the people of Israel coming before God, and they were to bring their tithe, their burnt offerings, their sacrifices, their tithes, their special gifts, their free will offerings, and the firstborn of the herd of their flocks. So they gave all of that on top of their tithe. So do you and I have to give 10%? Well, I don't think you have to give 10%, but I guess I'll just leave you with this. Can you imagine what the church would look like if everyone in it gave 10%? You would have all the youth workers you could ever want. You would have the kicking band that you've been hoping for all this time. You would have your roof, the idea of your leaky roof would just be yesterday's news. You would never have to worry about that again. You would be able to make an impact in your community that you've never made before. It could be absolutely amazing. So do I think that we ought to tithe? Yes. Do I think it's 10%? I think that's up to you, but I would encourage you to give as much as you can and to do it cheerfully.